Hi, this is Mitch Mitchell of I'm Just Sharing. Today I want to talk about social media presence and kind of some of the dangers that there can be. Now I'm saying danger, and I don't mean like cyberbullying or stalking or anything like that, although those are kinds of dangers. What I'm going to talk about are those times where you set something up. Maybe it's a Twitter account, maybe it's a Facebook page, it could even be a blog, and or even a video channel. And you decide to go out there and say your thing, and you start getting a little bit of attention. And at a certain point, you forget who you are, which is pretty much you're open for anyone to decide they don't like what you had to say or what you've done or something like that. And you see these incidences of it. For instance, this past week, there was a Facebook page of an organization in Wisconsin, a state organization, where they started taking a lot of heat because someone recorded a video of their wildlife services going into a compound that supposedly had an illegal baby deer. A fawn. I think it was a fawn. I don't exactly know. I'm trying to remember. But still, had this deer in there, and they basically assaulted it. I mean, a legal assault, but they had all the weapons or whatever, and they busted in, and they kicked down some doors or whatever, and in the course of it all, the deer was killed. And people were stunned because someone was able to get video of it and get it online. This after some of these guys tried to take the phones of some people and started erasing pictures, which is against the law, by the way. They're not supposed to do that. So anyway, a lot of people took to their Facebook page and slammed them, and they tried to respond a couple of times with stupid stuff. I mean, this is one of those kind of things where if they weren't state, they needed someone to run their publicity. Anyway, they tried to respond. They took heat because it spread all over the world. I mean, once CNN got hold of it, it was over. And they took a lot of heat, and eventually they just took their page down. And that's just the latest kind of thing that's happened. I don't know how many times you see people with their Twitter accounts, mainly it's young people, but sometimes it's older people, who all of a sudden say something really stupid, it spreads, they start taking a lot of heat, they get a lot of threats, and they shut stuff down. A lot of celebrities who think that they're above everybody else will say these things off the cuff, and then they get shut down. There is this thing called free speech in this country, but free speech goes both ways. And if you think you have the right to say anything you want to, well, so does everybody else. And you don't get to sit there and say all the time, well, I should have the right to my opinion. Yeah, you should have the right to your opinion, and people shouldn't be threatening you with bodily harm or anything like that. But once you put it out there, if you didn't couch it right and people come at you, you can't be surprised. I mean, I can't be surprised when I decide to say certain things here and there. As a matter of fact, it'd be interesting because no one's watching. But still, you have to kind of watch out. I was looking at this video the other day, some woman named Trisha. That's the best I know. I guess she showed up on America's Got Talent one time. But anyway, I got intrigued, and so I was watching a couple of videos, and she had one called Apology. And during the presidential election, she was for Romney. What are you going to do? And I guess she must have been on Twitter, and she was being very vocal about her support for him. And then after he lost, all the people who saw, had seen that she was supporting him, basically started taunting her online. So she decided to do a video in response to it. And without thinking, because this is, one of those people who, just says what she wants to say, without thinking, she said something that castigated welfare people. And then she started taking a lot of heat for it. She took massive heat. And this is someone who had, I think somewhere close to 500,000 subscribers before she said that. And a lot of people hated the video, and they, the dislikes, which is freaky, but a lot of people, tons more. It was 14 times more people who disliked it than liked it. And her next video was this apology video for it, saying, she says these things off the cuff without thinking, and people usually like it, but she realized this time that she went overboard and, insulted some people, and she apologized for that. And, she got some of those people back, probably not back up to the level, but you know what? That affected income. And so, you have to balance sometimes being controversial, being spontaneous, versus your livelihood, your reputation, and your peace of mind. Because there's one thing where people are just saying, I don't like what you had to say. But, sometimes it doesn't stop there. There are these nutcases. We just call it like it is. There's nutcases who go overboard and they start issuing death threats and whatever. Yeah, 99.9% of them are just saying this because they think they can, because they're anonymous. Bunch of punks. But you know what? You never know. All it takes is one nutcase who decides to act on it. And suddenly it's not funny anymore. That's why all these people, these famous people who, hear death threats or threats against their families, that's why they have all this security. That's why we have to have the president with, so many security people around him. That's why the Pope rides in a Pope-mobile, because there's nuts out there who will actually follow through on the threat. So I'm not saying any of this to scare you to be worried about people coming to hurt you or people saying whatever, but I am saying this to try to get something across, which is sometimes you just need to think about what you're going to say before you say it. There is a thing of being spontaneous. A couple weeks ago, I put out a video and I was very spontaneous in my anger that the killer of Trayvon Martin got off. Didn't care. Now, I knew that I could put that out there and I was going to have tons of support because, there's a lot of parents out there who are worried about their kids getting killed in such a manner. No matter what you teach them, if you've got someone who seems bent on shooting you, no matter if they're following the law or not, there's really nothing you can do about it. So I didn't care. I was the angry one that night. I was ready to take anything that anyone wanted to say back at me. I didn't care. But it's rare that I'm that controversial. It's rare that I'm that mad. When I'm doing this video, when I do all my other videos, I may not say exactly what I had necessarily planned to say, but I know the points I'm going to make. And I know the certain language I'm going to use. And if anyone can find anything controversial in anything I say when I'm not being controversial, then they're actually looking for it, which means they came with an agenda. I don't worry about those people either. So anyway, this is my warning to you and my encouragement to you that if you're going to do videos, if you're going to deem yourself Mr. Controversial or Miss Controversial, choose your words carefully because you may not be prepared for what's coming. That's all I got to say. So this is Mitch Mitchell, and I'm just sharing, talking about social media. And it's fun. It can get you business, but it can also cause you agita. Your decision. So, if you have comments, leave them below. Let me know what you have to say, and I'm out of here.